Hey, my peeps, it is the Goose Man coming back at you with a little breakdown of the Modlin map that. What's his name again?
Armant.
Armant
Ar-
did. And he started a channel where he posting his replays. And Richard Martin and I are going to take a look at what he's done. I finally had an opportunity to take a look at Spoils of War and watch how he just devastated that map, and I'm curious as to see how he was able to pull off Modlin. I have a sniffer test for how much save scumming was needed, but I started watching his Modlin playthrough and his original Modlin playthrough, and at the start it didn't look like there was any save scumming, so I'm looking forward to this.
I think in 39, if you're going to push for impossible things, there's some saves going.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
I think it's the question is how much, and I think he didn't have to do as much in his second run through.
Because he played with a different set of units, is the way
And
he made
also
it sound.
he's talked to me, and I've given him some advice to improve efficiency. But he's also clearly capable of he figured out a lot of things by himself. But there's certain types of maps. Like, I know a lot of intimate things about maps, and I just let him know, hey, if you have a question, I can probably answer it. uh,
Okay,
but but he's clever. He's very clever. He didn't need that much help,
well
really.
let's see what he
And he
does
did
here.
he did all this. Yeah,
Let's see what he does.
it's a boatload of artillery.
Yeah,
So he buys a second scout. Let's see. There's six artillery pieces and a level bomber.
and that is what I think he ran with originally too. And two scouts. We have three tack bombers. That's what he had before. Now
Yep.
I wish we could see the air and see if those.
It's two level bombers and three tactical bombers. He has a lot of suppression. So his intention is to completely destroy the enemy. Like, he wants to suppress and destroy all at once. That way he can cross the river as fast as possible.
Are these
This is a core.
are these strats? Because
Yeah,
I looked at the original
yeah,
and the
they are.
strats. The strats do not have any stars of experience. But did he have build them up by this point? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. He may have just bought them for the first time here.
Because he doesn't have very much overstrength either, just on the artilleries that I'm
I mean, you can see
noticing.
his prestige is not very high.
No, no, it's not.
That's because of overstrength.
He does not need to do
So,
that with this Sturmpanzer that gives him nothing.
well, he's suppressing, isn't he?
I mean, the one overstrength on the Sturmpanzer
Oh,
doesn't
on
give
the
him
sword.
anything.
Yeah, he didn't have to do that. Yeah. So what he does is he found a really efficient way to completely destroy the light resistance before crossing the river, and he's crossing really fast, like record-setting pace, which is crazy, but it makes sense. The scouts are very flexible, which helps.
Yeah,
He's really sold me on two scouts in 39.
I tried to make a seller on you for those.
Yeah, but I think there is a problem. What is going to happen when you get to 43? He doesn't have an answer to that, by the way. Because he's never played. I don't think he's played much of Panzer Corps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think. I get the impression he hasn't done that many maps. He does a lot of research before optimizing games. He's one of those people. So he doesn't. I'm like one of those people that has to drown before I learn how to swim, and other people just learn how to swim. But he likes to do his research. So he's extremely bright. Just to give you, like, think about that. He's doing
Ooh.
this with, like, very limited experience.
It is crazy. He just knows that these aren't going to attack.
Yeah, he's very much aware of what's passive as well. He looks at the map editor, which is fine. You need to do that for ultimate mode.
I'm not that versed on how to do that.
Oh, you open up the editor and you find the file. I can show you how to do that. It's not a big deal. You do look at the editor. You've already looked at it before for some of these.
Yeah, I've looked at the editor, but I don't. I look for the scripts and things like that.
Yep.
Not so much the.
You don't look at the individual unit. You don't look at the individual units.
I don't really know how to get information from looking at the individual.
Oh, make sure you're not on zone. Make sure you're on unit. I can show you. Now, if you want to pause here, I want to point out it's turn 2, and he is just look at what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Dead. Like he basically is positioning his artillery so he can take a shot. He ignores this hex. He doesn't push hard on this. The hex to the that far left. He is ignoring it. He wants to kill this because this is the pathway to cross the river. You have to cross the river as fast as possible.
Oh, if you're talking about this area right here, he's going to focus on
I don't know what river. Whatever river that is.
Yeah.
You have to cross this as fast as possible. And also mountain units, he has SE mountain units, and those things are wrecking. They have very high soft attack.
I love Gebirgsjäger.
And he's showing with overstrength they're even more devastating. Like you can get really reliable high rolls. Well, not even high rolls, they're just average rolls. Now, I don't think he did this. Oh yeah, on his first attempt he used them. I think he has 1 SE mountain unit instead of 2, and he's crushing things. If he had another one, it would be even more devastating. Because they can really do soft attack, and if you put some overstrength on them, it gets worse.
Oh, he's already going for the.
Well, it's an empty hex. The AI is programmed to take it. I think it's programmed to take it regardless of its strength.
No, I was talking about he flew the strat down to the main objective, Modlin itself, quickly. That was.
Well, oh, he did? That's kind of surprising because it's not that helpful yet. He could have de-entrenched something like this hex on the right, the major hex. So it's turn 3, and he's going to take this out and this out, and I think he takes this out on turn 3, which is record-setting. And he can do that because he has scouts. Do you see how the scout can follow the road and finish that up?
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Here's Oladir. He keeps him as a mountain unit. And he just allows... Oladir can just move very quickly because of that. He's going to really trash that anti-tank.
And because he's taken it so early, they're able to de-entrench them because they haven't had much time to entrench.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. It's brutal, and the tactical bombers clean up.
Good grief.
And some of these units, I think many of these units don't reinforce. Look at this. He's exploiting the roads. So the scouts have a lot of movement.
Passive unit.
Yep. He's not messing around here. He really wants to kill things.
That was a lucky
He probably
shot.
reloaded for that. Yeah, he probably reloaded for that. Now he doesn't need Kesha, I think. I think Kesha gets railed south. So it's a little slow, but on this map, Kesha's not that critical. He baits this guy out. I knew you could do that.
Wow, that's impressive.
I knew you could do that.
Impressive.
He has a scout. It's so crazy. His scout can just go clean up and move out of the way. I wonder how useful that will be in 40. I'm a little skeptical about 2 scouts in 40. But, you know, he's only playing with 1 fighter, too. One of the benefits of his approach with 1 fighter is he gets another ground unit. Or he gets another Stuka.
If I'm following you, he only plays with the initial fighter that
Yep.
he was given. He doesn't buy
Yep.
another fighter. I think that'll
Yep.
hamper him later on.
His plan is to get an SE fighter.
You don't get SE fighters.
Yes, you do. You get them in 1941, starting at Crete. You can.
What? I've never seen an SE fighter except in 45.
Apparently you can. You know why? It's because everybody loads a tank.
Yeah, no, but I played it where I've tried to reload till I get like an SE Tiger or an SE Panther, but I never got an SE plane.
You can, apparently, starting at Crete.
How did you find that out?
He told me. He looked into the... He's done it before.
Oh, I gotta see that.
I know. And I'm sitting here going... I had an argument with him about this because I thought, what are you talking about? But I think he's right. I think the reason we don't see it is, one, that's not the first answer to your SE unit. Two, most of the time, you're going to get a tank before that. And even on that map, you're more likely to get a tank than a fighter. But he says it's like equal probability, but I'm not sure if that's true. SE fighter definitely... This is what I'm telling you, man. Like, I'm
I know they
blown
have
away
SE fighters
by...
in Africa Corps.
Yes. And I thought that was exclusively an Africa Corps thing.
Right.
But apparently not. He was talking about getting 2 SE fighters. Think about that.
Right. That would be awesome.
I don't think it's better than a tank, though. Because I asked him about that. I was like, well, wait a minute. If you're going to have one less tank and you sold your starter tanks, you're not going to have that many armored units. And he's only going to have Panzer IVs with Kesha, I think. So I'm just trying to do the math here, and I'm like, well, where's your armor? So I think there's still some things he hasn't figured out yet, but...
I definitely like the use of the recons. See, he's not safe scumming to get a damage point. I would have been safe scumming to at least get 1 damage point.
He's not. I mean, I don't know how much safe scumming. I think the safe scumming has to be later. And maybe on that Kesha is probably the first obvious one. These scouts are saving a lot of time.
And plus the rail, using the rail, that top spot, being that far down already.
Yep,
That's
I knew about that too. Yeah, look at how far down he is. So he's crossed 1 river and he's starting to cross the 2nd river on turn 4. I mean, speed. What you're seeing from him, so the other difference between him and me is he has trucks. So I don't use trucks because I don't want to waste the prestige on it and soft cap issues. And I've been very successful with it, but in 39, I don't think you can do these maps without trucks.
No, not if you're going to push at this speed.
So we're starting to get the Gadarian side of things. That possibly was safe scummed. I mean, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
But look at this. He's just ripping them up.
Is he playing on normal dice, or is he playing on...
I'm pretty sure looking at this, it's standard. Because you're seeing too many high rolls. I mean, he's 12-shot an enemy. So that's got to be full dice.
A bunch of people have been asking me to play the Battlefield Europe when I replay it on dice chest. I'm just no.
I'm not a fan of it. No. I'm not. I think it actually hurts the player because if you do controlled killing, you use the dice against the enemy. Like, I think people don't appreciate that with the right planning, the dice are your friend.
They can be, but they also can be a real jerk.
But you have to have Soren level control. And when you do...
I can't believe he's...
That's when you...
This is insane.
Yeah, this surprised me. This cavalry will not attack. It's like forced to go up here. Because I think it's trying to go towards the major hexes. It's active, and there's major hexes that have not. I don't understand. Like, it just won't attack this stuff. This is a passive unit, so he doesn't have to kill it.
This unit's passive. This unit's not.
This unit's passive. It's active, but I think it wants to go up. This is passive. This is passive.
Oh my gosh. I would have never thought of doing this.
I didn't. I saw the cavalry was active. I just assumed it would go right, but it doesn't. And I'm guessing it's because it's trying to go to a major hex, and by taking out the fort, you're denying vision? I'm not entirely sure. He kills it right to left, which is different from the way I instinctively think about it, left to right. But I think he's right, you kill right to left. That way you can really concentrate on the difficult spot. There's nothing active left that can reach this. Kesha comes and just kills that. That's nice.
It just moved up. That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't get the AI behavior here.
Where's he taking that?
It might be his SC mountain unit, and he doesn't need it anymore. Or maybe it's in the way and he needs to swing it around. I'm not sure. So we're now in the back half, and he's already, look at this, he's just stripping. He's really hitting things with tactical bombers. A lot of these units are passive and don't take replacements.
He had to have, because I don't think it's always sunny here.
He doesn't mess with weather. And I'm not joking. I mean, he's mapped away Spoils of War with 2 turns of rain. He doesn't touch weather.
I watched that today.
He farmed Spoils of War with 2 turns of rain. And he only reloads for heroes, and every now and then I think in 39 he has to reload. But heroes he reloads for. He wants ideal heroes, and it makes a big difference. So he has attack heroes everywhere. Look at that artillery. It's just vaporizing everything. With the air defense gone, it's allowing him to do certain things. So at the end of turn 8, he's got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 units left. So he just has to kill 3 a turn, which is very doable. Especially with 3 overstrength tactical bombers.
Interesting.
This really surprised me that you could bait the tank out. I didn't know you could do that. So he's going to hit the
bomb it. Brilliant.
And a tactical bomber can do a lot of damage to a fort.
Oh, that's some really lucky hitting. And then you can double tap it. That's great.
But he got unlucky there, right? So it balanced out.
This doesn't look too safe, Scummy.
I agree. There's a few spots maybe, but he's a really talented player. Think about all the players that we've never heard about that are better at this game than we are.
Yeah, but we can take solace in knowing that we started.
We sound like old people. but but I'm a guy that really likes to see efficiency, so
Wait a minute.
you know,
Okay.
my ego can take it.
Here's
He
my thinking.
bombarded the hell out of the.
How is he? Like normally Modlin buys that artillery next to this unit, and now that he's moved up like this, now that he's got to face the wrath of the mobile, or the what is it called? The death train. Isn't this called Death Train or something? I thought it was called Death.
Death Note or something like that. I don't know. I know it has a name. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's gotta. What is he gonna let it hit? Is the thing. If he moves this up, he's gonna hit the 88.
He probably saves. I bet he saves skims here.
Maybe. Or maybe he changes. Maybe he changes his attack pattern and tries to strat. Nope. He's still stratting that. Interesting.
That helps. He can take out one of the forts. That tank cat's frozen. It can't do anything. He has 2 Storm Panzers as well, which supports fast mobility.
There it is.
That's his SE mount unit. Okay, he uses it as bait. He doesn't care about that unit. He's gonna let it get damaged. He's using my strategy. This guy really paid attention to the documentation I provided, and he's like, I'm gonna do all of that and then do extra stuff. Like he has, you can see Soren methods here. Robbie plays strategy games, your stuff.
That's what he's gonna do right now.
Yep. He's got my methods, your methods, Soren's. Robbie plays strategy games and his own stuff. Like this guy's brilliant.
Minimal touch.
Yep. He uses everything to his advantage. And this fort is not important right now.
It's 1 strength. That's crazy.
He's relentless. He pushes right through no ammo. This tank is not a problem.
How come it didn't? That's my question though. How come it didn't buy the usual artillery right here?
Isn't that after maybe there was enough core slots? I don't know.
I can't imagine he destroyed everything.
I don't know. I don't know why that. Oh, you know what? Maybe the enemy replaced enough that it didn't have the prestige.
Maybe.
So this weak fort did nothing. So there's only 5 units left on the final turn.
So he's taking everything out except these 2 areas.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Because they're not important. Was it on the first one that he map wiped it? I thought he did. Maybe I'm delusional.
Insult to injury.
He's always adding. It's pretty intense.
So
I think he did it this way to reduce the need for reloads.
I love it. So he ended with 1,056. He started with like in the 200s or
451. Yeah.
Oh. Wow. That's just crazy. All right, I'm gonna pop you up here.
Yeah, he's
How do we do this?
So, what are you looking for?
I'm like gonna stop sharing my screen.
Oh, go to Discord. and you should have a button to stop sharing.
Says pop out. Says
I can stop watching. There we go.
stop streaming. There we go. Okay. Okay. So, what are you?
What are some lessons that you've learned from that?
Well, I don't know if they're lessons I really want to learn. I mean, I see the importance of going for broke on 39, but I'm not sure that you need a decisive on Modlin in order to be. I think our approaches where we were looking to maximize kills while minimizing damage to ourselves is the way to go, because I really don't want to use that many TAC bombers, because as you and I both know, later in the war, TAC bombers just aren't where it's at.
Well, keep in mind here that I think his goals are different. I think he wants to crush. I think he wants to. His goals are to crush the maps.
Right. Right. So he'll do whatever it takes to beat Maginot Line. That's his next. What is the word?
Well, he has to figure out the other maps. Remember, his core is different from mine, so some of that sneaky stuff I did, he can't do. I don't know if he might have enough paratroopers, but
is he building them?
His core is different
in Norway.
Well, he bought them in Norway. I'm curious to see what he does with them. And then the other thing is he has less armor than I do. And remember, I'm the guy that runs around with like no armor, so he has less than me. Yeah. So I have no idea how that's going to work.
Right. And so looking at his playthrough, it's obviously very well executed. Amazing the speed with which he pulls off the things and the daring steps that he takes. I still am flummoxed by understanding why that cavalry, even though it's active, didn't take advantage of attacking his units. I don't understand that at all.
Very. That's normal though. I think I realize that's true. I just have never saw the benefit of exploiting it, but you can see in that scenario that there's a benefit.
Oh, I guess he has to do Metaxas because none of us have done that one.
Yeah, he hasn't done that one yet. But I'm really curious to see how 1940 goes because you've got no armor, you have a heavy reliance on tactical bombers, and you have one fighter.
And as we know,
if you remember,
what heroes is he trying for the artillery?
Movement, range, attack.
Okay. He
I'm going to defend Armant here for a second. You know what he's doing with this aggression? He's getting heroes faster. And the faster you get heroes, the easier the maps get.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that we didn't think about.
Well, I tried to be very aggressive on many of the maps.
But not this aggressive.
No.
You were not this aggressive.
On 39, I didn't even think decisive were possible on any of the maps.
Something to think about is he's getting heroes very quickly.
Yeah.
Like really quickly. So it's making maps easier later. He's really light on infantry as well, but he's going to get that up to 12, I think, at some point. Mm. He's very skeptical of too many infantry units.
What do you mean? What's his skepticism on that?
They need enough artillery support to be effective. So the more infantry he gets, the more artillery he has to get.
Yeah, I mean, I'm big into artillery, so I can see that. But having multiple infantry is critical in being able to take those maps that require digging out.
I think you're going to see. I agree with you, and I've had deep discussions with him. I convinced him to get more infantry. The thing is, you can see he's going to use the Air Force Could you imagine a wave of Stukas in 43, all with attack +9 heroes?
Oh, that's what he's going for,
I
huh?
mean, it's absolutely what he's going for. He might crush those maps,
Yeah, I would.
but he doesn't have the armor.
Yeah. Well, he will
That's where
if he doesn't just go for SE fighters. I mean, is he going to have
well,
the
he's
two
gonna
SE
have
infantry, or is he going for?
no SE infantry. I think he will have one SE fighter. So he'll have so at 43 he will have 5 tanks, Kesha and Kershaw, which is 6, and maybe 3 anti-tanks. But some of those tanks are not that
Well, what about
experienced.
Rondorf?
Rondorf will be a flam, so take that back. One will be a flam.
Oh, he
So his
likes the
armor,
Flam.
yeah, he and I have argued about it. I'm always the guy that's like, it's inefficient expenditure because you can't keep it as a flam because it's going to get crushed.
I hear you. I understand that, but seeing that 14 soft kill, that
Yeah,
butters my
he's
muffin.
excited about it too. The thing is, I love the idea, but I like my units surviving more.
Yeah, yeah. But if you know what the units are going to do, if you have a Soren like brain, and you know what units like Soren could definitely use a Flam
You need
and
more
use it
armor. Your
successfully.
issue is your armor isn't good enough. You
Well,
need more of it too, I think. Or wait,
well, I have
you have
all
like
SE.
6.
I have all SE tanks, so I
Oh,
try to
okay, okay. You have
rely.
enough.
Yeah, I try to rely on those as my big dogs, and then I try to use some of the littler dogs for my regular tanks that I use, like the
Is Kesha
KV.
a tiger?
No,
Is Kesha a
Kesha.
tiger?
He's a Panzer 4H.
See, that's another tiger.
Say that again.
Kesha has to be a tiger.
No, no,
You don't have you.
I keep
You
him
don't
before
have.
till you can make him a king tiger, and that is only late. I do that late because I like
I
having the
think. I
soft
think
cap
that.
down. And I
Yeah,
haven't
the
been
problem
using
is you need to
Kershaw.
survive.
I haven't been using him that much because he's at 3 stars and
No,
two
because
heroes.
he's a Panzer IV. That's why you can't use him that much.
I'm actually using no.
You
I'm
can't.
using my initiative Panzer IV on Kremenchug because I want to try to get him a second hero.
But I think that's your problem is you don't have enough armor. You don't have Rondorf out there. Rondorf is key
Rondorf has
to
three heroes
establishing
and
your.
Rondorf has 3 heroes and
But he's
four
not a
stars.
tank. My point is he's not a tank. So if you watch Soren play, he has Kesha as the
Key
point man
player, yeah.
leading one attack group and Rondorf as the other. And it allows him to establish spacing. So when you need to move up soft units behind the armor, he sets it up so that the spacing allows him to do that. Your issue is that you don't have the armor to do what you need to do. You can't just safely throw, your flam tank out and your scouts. Like a lot of your reloads are tied to the fact that your spacing is not under control because you don't have enough armor. You need to have Kesha out there, Rondorf out there, and the KV has to go into the trash heap. It's not good enough.
Well, I'm going to
If
say
you
the
had like
KV until
defense,
I have him as a +3 attack and +1 movement. I'm going to wait till I can make him a king tiger, and then I'll probably switch him up to that.
but if he had +6 defense, you could use him. But
Yeah.
as it is now, no. And you're gonna King Tiger is late. I have you seen the 44 maps Soren has been playing?
No, not. It's been. I usually watch Soren maps right before I play them.
Because I don't think you are gonna want to delay upgrading.
Well, I kind of like keeping within the soft cap. If I'm in Kremenchug with the 98% soft cap, that
Oh,
feels pretty good.
yeah, but I think the way to keep in soft cap is to not overstrengthen Kesha Rondorf
Yeah, I
and keep the
don't.
overstrengthen artillery And keep the overstrength on artillery limited, keep the overstrength on fighters limited, keep the overstrength on infantry limited.
The only
And I think that would do it.
the only overstrength fighters I have are Heinrich Barr and Arato Bella. I named my +3 defense, +1 initiative Arato Bella for one of my fans. You are my +2 movement pioneer. In my east, in my west, I believe you're going to be a grenadier waiting for his first hero.
That's okay.
Because you used to be a conscript, my 2-starred conscript.
Hey, I love it. I love the story. Are you only using like one pioneer in West?
In West, I'm using Oladir as a pioneer, and then I ended up switching Wernsberger from the Kratschützen to a grenadier in order to solve one of the maps, and then I changed to a Fallschirmjäger, to that one that we discussed the last time, to solve one of the maps.
That seems like a waste of prestige. There's got to be a better way. If you think about it, the prestige in the West is so pitiful.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy, and I got to be honest with you. After busting my balls trying to beat all the maps in the West, the last 4, and before, what's the one that's the last one, the very last one?
I don't even remember. I don't like that map.
I'm going for a loss on that one. I'm going to try to get a lot of kills.
I think it's lost that one too.
I want to. You have to lose all the objectives, but if you get a loss, you get the most prestige. You get 2,000, so it'd be 1,000 for us since we're playing on Rommel.
Wow. So man, although you made a lot of mistakes in West in terms of prestige management, like
Volturno.
I would argue that probably whatever prestige you've gained, you've lost from elite replacement cost and overstrength cost.
I try to limit the overstrength. I just want to upgrade units.
Yeah. The solution is don't put overstrength on your artillery. Just literally don't, because it's a hopeless cause. And then your fighters have to have at least 2 points.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. And so artillery, in my opinion, is almost useless in the West. But you need it to dig out things and defend against ambushes. But so it's so useless. Overstrength isn't even worth it, and it's killing you on soft cap. And given that you're going to need an air heavy approach, your soft cap is going to take some pretty serious hits.
It's not easy.
There's no way to deal with the Allied Air Force without having a massive Luftwaffe. Like, you're going to have to put like a lot, like proportionally, a lot of your units will be Luftwaffe divisions. You're going to have, your anti-aircraft guns, your fighters, your tactical bombers, your level bombers.
Oh, the anti-aircraft in the West is just disappointing.
You're going to have to bring... I think you need to bring 2.
Well, I do. I do mostly, but... you mean
well,
at the start?
I think, like at the start, I think you have to bring maybe an SE fighter, bring Bear, and then bring 2 88 guns. That is how I think if Soren were to approach West, I think on Rommel he can do whatever. But if he were to play that on Manstein, I wonder how long it would take him before he figured out he needs to really bring in the Luftwaffe. And you need the experience. You have no breather to get the experience on the FWs. Those guys, you're going to be spending all of 42, 43 babysitting them.
Well, if you're not dealing with... The thing that kills us is we're dealing with Manstein, and we're dealing with Field Marshal, and we're dealing with Guderian. I mean, the Rommel... I don't really care about prestige. I can jimmy things around to get prestige. I'm not usually too worried about prestige, but it's the compiling of all of it that just kills you. The 5 extra strength points that they have, and then your units, those FWs that you get, instead of them having 2 stars of experience to start out with, they have 1 star. So no respect, none.
That's right. But you need them.
Right.
You need them because
you need at least one of them.
I am dying to know how Soren would solve those maps, because he has talked about this. The damage you take from the Air Force is often far worse than the damage you take from ground units.
Right.
So in terms of a prestige efficiency perspective, he controls the Air Force first. Good luck with that on Grand Campaign West.
Mm-hmm. Especially in Syracuse.
But you have to do it. If you don't do it, you lose all your prestige with elite replacement costs.
Any time you have to attack the American Air Force, it's just a nightmare. Those P47s.
I think they're superior to. I think they are objectively superior to the German fighters.
Yeah. And they only have a star.
You have to ambush them.
Right. Because they're so overstrength.
So
that 5 extra strength points and the 1 star of experience, and their just willingness to attack you straight out. They were attacking my 4-starred BFs that had 2 stars of experience. They just attack them straight out. Pissed me off.
Did you put enough overstrength on them?
I had 2 overstrength. That's enough for me. I thought it was enough for them to keep them off me.
So you said you had a 4-star. You had a 4-star fighter with 2 points of overstrength.
That were BFs, yeah.
And they were attacked.
Yep.
Was it Heinrich Barr?
Defense. No, it was a +3 defense, +1 initiative.
Was Heinrich Barr attacked though?
No.
Okay,
but I haven't deployed him. I haven't deployed him in a while because
he won't be attacked. If he's 3 stars, you throw a couple points on him, he won't be attacked. The solution to this problem is, I think you need to get an SE fighter.
I really don't think that can happen. I'll be surprised if he shows that's possible. That'd be crazy.
Because I think what's the bonus to an SE fighter again?
I think it's just
so. Is it just +1 attack?
Let me look up Gamepedia.
Is it like +1 initiative?
Fighters. Panzer Corps. So SE. It says SEFW 190A. Availability is starting 9/10/2242. I'm just trying to. It says a unit is in Panzer Corps. Just have never seen that.
So I think it's like +1 attack, or maybe it's +1 attack, +1 defense, or is it just +1 attack?
Okay, it says 13 air attack and 19 air defense for BF 109F. 1319. Let's see. 1219. It's just one at +1 to air attack. That's nothing.
Yeah, and you'd have to get him to 3 stars by the end of 41, which might be possible.
Initiative is 11.
You deploy him every scenario.
Yeah, the initiative's the same.
Oh, okay. Hear me out on this. You know what you might want to do? Hear me out on this. I think there's a reason you would want an SE fighter. You could give it max overstrength.
Right.
and not have it affect soft cap.
But I'm really
So then-
very sure that there are not SE fighters, and for this reason, because I know in 1945 you are awarded a SE fighter in the very first map, and so that's why you want to save scum to get that SE tank in 45, because that will be your only chance to get an extra SE, because after the first map you will have 9 SE units with that SE fighter. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so then that SE fighter.
I'm checking my.
If you
I'm
buy,
checking
if
my
you,
chat. I had a dis.
here,
I'm checking my chat because we had a discussion about this. He insists that you absolutely can get one, and you can get more than one.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up an old game of mine. Let's
So
go.
you just get +1 air attack. However, there is no FW190D-9 in the SE version. That's interesting.
Okay, so I'm at
So
my.
somewhere in this conversation, I'm looking in this conversation with him to see where he talked about the fighters. Because I had a whole discussion with him, like, what are you talking about? That's impossible.
Okay, so I have an SE BF-109K that you're given in the first mission. It has a +4 attack, +4 defense, +1 movement. Hero starting off with. By the time I was in Berlin, and I think this must have been my Field Marshal playthrough, he had 3 stars and 288 kills. So I go to upgrade him, and there's nothing. There's nothing there. That tells me there are no SE fighters.
He says that it's in the data somewhere. I have a really, really long conversation with him, so it's difficult to figure out where the hell we talked about this.
Yeah, good grief. This is an old game of mine. I had.
But he insists. He said. Now, here's the thing. He says he's done it before.
Okay. Well,
he's played and gotten an SE fighter before.
I'll believe it
when I see it. Yeah, I've never seen anyone do it. God, this conversation's so long that I have with him that I have no idea where we had this discussion on. Oh, he says you can get an SEBF 109F starting from Crete if you have a free slot. He said he had one during his Rommel playthrough. You can also get an SE Junker 87R. Did you know that? You can get an SE Tactical Bomber.
Yeah, you do in 45.
You can get it. No. He says you can do it in 41.
Telling you. I just never seen it. I've never seen it, and I've played this for years.
So what he said is, the reason you've never seen it is who has ever wanted a fighter at Crete.
Well, I get that, but I'm talking like 43, 44, 45. I've saved scum.
No, he's saying you can do it.
And I've gotten SE infantry. I've gotten SE tanks.
See, I have this entire conversation with him. I'm like, okay, you're saying the fighters can be awarded in 41. I've never seen it happen. Probability must be very low. He says the probability is the same as any other SE unit, but before Crete, most players already have all 4 SE slots filled.
Great. So then 42.
I don't know.
I'll believe it when I see it.
He says he's done it before. It's interesting.
We'll throw it out to our fans. We'll say, hey, if you guys watching this know of any SE fighters that you can get awarded,
that you can earn in 41.
Yeah.
See, I thought I had this whole conversation. I'm like, you talk about Kittle? What are you talking about? Because I was trying to figure out where he's getting his fighters from because he didn't buy one. He's like, oh, I'm going to get an SE fighter, and I was just, look, if you can get a fighter in 41, it would blow me away. Like if you saw this dialogue I have with him, I was like, I feel like I don't know anything. I literally had no idea you can get an SE fighter. But of course, I would like to see it.
Right.
Because if you can get an SE fighter, it would help in Grand Campaign West on soft cap.
Oh, and 41. So then by 42, I see what you're saying.
So, yeah, I can't believe how long my conversation is with him. Holy crap, I had no idea I talked to him that much.
Is this on Discord or
But,
something?
yeah, I'm friends with him on Discord. And, wow, I talked to him about a lot of stuff. It actually started with a YouTube comment, and, like, I don't know, I thought he was being really condescending. And I was like, well, if you think it's that easy, why don't you do it yourself? And you can imagine my shock when he's like, oh, I already did it. And I was like, what do you mean you already did it? And then he showed me his Slytherin forum, or his Slytherin post. And that was when Pandora's box opened, and I was like, okay, I really don't know this game very well.
But again, looking
like,
at his
you can
lore,
imagine
I wouldn't want to fight it that way. I wouldn't want to.
But it's getting him a ton of prestige, you know. I mean, and it's getting him a lot of kills too.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue with results.
No, I don't disagree with that. I play for results. You see me, the frustration I have trying to play for those results with Prokhorovka. That is a labor of love right there. Trying to break that map.
So, yeah, but needless to say, it's kind of like there might be a whole new evolution to Panzer Corps. So I like to think of the first wave of Panzer Corps, the Deductor timeline. Deductor made the game go forward with his tactics. I like to call it the tactical era. And then there's the Bracada era, very much focused on strategy and very precise thinking process. And then there's the Soren era, where it's like machine-like
Precision.
And just really precise tactics. Mm-hmm. And then we enter the ultimate mode era, where it's like you got to be good at everything at a very, very high level. Yeah. But I feel like we're exiting that era and we're entering ultimate mode era 2.0. like I'm gonna have to nickname it the Armant era. You know.
Well, I really think it's great that you have encouraged this level of contribution from the fan base. It's just awesome to see these other channels pop up. That there's a French channel, there's Pathetic Gamer, and I'm personally a big fan of Pathetic Gamer because I think he's extremely funny. So yeah, and then unfortunately there's this guy named Zilla Blitz, and he was playing the Allied Corps campaign, but he's more into different games. He likes these like games where you drive around, Euro Trucker or something.
Racing games.
No, like driving.
Well, people are allowed to like different games.
Yeah. I don't understand it, but people are allowed to.
But I noticed the American presence with this game is very weak.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's a shame. I wish Deductor would come back because I think he's an interesting commentator.
For crying out loud, I don't know if you've ever watched his video. It's been over a year. I still see him. Yeah, I know. I said for crying out loud, Bracada would be awesome to get him to come back. It's been over a year for him.
I think he's with family. Oh yeah, it would be. It would be nice if, like, I have a Discord channel, but you know the problem is no one posts on the channel. I put things in there every now and then, but all of my conversations are private, so people can't see all the interesting discussions. So yeah, I have like channels like Strategic, Bragging Rights, Battlefield Europe. Like I put some channels in here, Field Marshal Rommel, where people could ask questions or post stuff.
Oh, the Panzer Corps channel, Panzer Corps Forever thing?
Yeah. No, my channel's I don't know. It's just called Panzer Corps, I think.
Oh yeah,
but this channel,
Panzer Corps. Mm-hmm.
Like like imagine if like Dr. Bricata and Soren and you and I were on that channel and just like once a week or once every 2 weeks we just posted something and then we had discussions in the appropriate chat area. So that way other people could see what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this huge, big, long dialogue with Armant. It would be so useful for people to see that on the channel because it gets really technical. Right? Think about how often you and I have had a technical conversation in a private conversation and other people don't see it.
Good point.
And with Discord, you get the notifications and stuff. And if you had people just throwing some content on there, it could just be, here's my latest video,
Right.
or loading up a Word document. So one of my favorite things to do, like in the Ultimate Mode channel, I have pinned documents, and I've been showing the best of Armand's videos there. But there's no engagement. Like I have people, like imagine it was a little more active. You could get people to want to join. Like imagine you had a place you could go to get instant feedback. Or like Slytherin's like kind of old fashioned and clunky. It's Slytherin is his whole layout is for old people. Right? Like what is it that people do? What do you call them? Where you literally write out a detailed thing that you did with screenshots.
Oh, like an AAR?
An AAR. I mean, that is
After
so
action
old people.
report.
After action report. That is an old people thing.
I used to love those. I loved reading.
But I get the impression that old people play this game.
Oh yeah.
Wow. And I'm talking they're over 50. I mean, I would be shocked if Bricata was over 50.
Oh no, I'd be shocked if he's over 50. I think he's.
He sounds too experienced.
Oh no, I think both Lieutenant Joker and Bricata are both around the same age, which I think is upper 30s.
Oh really? Yeah. Oh, they sound so much older. But I just like Night Phoenix. He's probably like. It wouldn't shock me if he was over 50.
Oh, it would shock me if he was over. I always think people are younger than me.
So, but it's just think about how, like, no one thinks to use Discord, and it's also, I mean, Slytherin has their forum, but it's so like 1990s.
Yeah, it's been a while since I see that there's a bunch of stuff posted that I have not checked on in so long.
Yeah, you don't get the notifications, right? Like with Discord, at least you could get the app on your phone, and then the second anything interesting happens, boom, something pops up to let you know.
Oh, I'll get a message. I'll get an email if somebody's private messages me, so then I know to check it. But
you don't get I don't think you get a notification if a post is put up.
No.
Or you don't even have the ability to control what notifications you get. I think in Discord you can.
The thing I'm most disappointed with is that all these great ideas that came from the Panzer Corps 10th anniversary improvement ideas, and it started out so eager, so many ideas, so many great things coming from that, and then just nothing.
There's two things about that. One, where's the profit? Slytherin's a corporation, right? So
I know, but people are willing to put money on the. People are willing to put their money out for that.
Where's the business plan? How many staff actually work at Slytherin?
I have no idea.
Like, what are we talking? Like, maybe it's a small company, right?
20.
A dozen. Okay. Out of those dozen people, who has the time to actually manage and run a startup?
Yeah. I know, it's just
right. They have more games than Panzer Corps. You got to remember, if you don't put a proper profit maximizing incentive in there, the company, they don't make these games out of love. This games are not made anymore.
This game was.
I think it was. But
because it was originally came from the people that created Panzer Corps or Panzer General Forever. So somebody who loved Panzer General and liked the general concept of it took the idea, that seed idea, and turned it into this.
Yes.
And you can,
But,
and you know, this was a hot seller for them,
yes,
and is still
but
a
you're missing
seller
the
for
point.
them. Just let me finish.
You're missing the point.
But just let me finish. So you know it
Okay.
was because their icons on the forum is still Panzer Corps icons. So obviously this was a huge seller for them, a huge thing for them. I don't think it is anymore, but it was.
But the gaming world has moved on.
I
Like,
know.
games used to be made out of love, but that's just not true anymore. There's almost no studio that's of any size that's making games out of love. Unless you get into like indie studios. The whole way games work these days is you have to make as money as quickly as possible through pre-orders. And developers who started developing games with a passion, they don't do that anymore. There's no passion because the executives at the higher level are saying, where is my profit here? Or do you have microtransactions in your game? No. Why should I make the game? Do you have beautiful 3D models that look great in commercials and advertisements? No. Well, how am I going to get a bunch of people to buy into this game? It is very, very obvious at the highest level of executive decision making at Slytherin that what matters more than anything is glitz.
Is
and
what?
and what glitz, like glamour. What matters more than anything is glamour, because the studies show that if you put enough glamour in your video game, X% of people will buy it, and that percent will make you profitable.
Man.
Nowhere in there is it about, is this the best game that we can make?
Sad, really.
The modern, that's the transition, and it's been going on for about a decade, and it's going to get worse. Like Panzer Corps, that's is it. Until you can convince them, like, what would probably get them going on a Kickstarter is if they're like, yes, let's make it 3D. Like, if somebody put together a business plan where they took the original Panzer Corps and made it 3D with lots of bells and whistles and shiny things, they would probably be more interested. And if they pull the Activision route, they can even override the old files and make you have to play with the new updated version.
Ugh, no.
And then they can charge you for mods. What do you think about that?
I think that's terrible.
Like, yeah, but it makes money. You got to get out of your old-fashioned mindset. In the modern era, all that matters is making money.
I'd rather enjoy the game I love.
Well, you could do it. I think it was Blizzard that did this. They replaced the old version of a great game with the new version that sucked. It's like the same game, but they put like updated graphics in it, and the game was just fundamentally worse. And you couldn't play the old version.
What was that? StarCraft or something?
World of Warcraft, one of the Warcraft ones, I think. So that's the future. One day you're gonna try to open up Panzer Corps, and it's gonna be a new version, and it's gonna be 3D.
And then I'll throw up, and I'll be thanking God that I have a hard copy of it that I can load into my computer, and they can't touch. They can't. I did. I ended up buying it. I ended up buying a hard copy because about a year ago now, because I just wanted to have it physically. I wanted to have a physical representation of the game.
But to get back to your original point, I do think it was incredibly shitty that they couldn't even do a typical corporate bland response of thank you for your support.
Right.
They definitely have a PR problem over there. The fact that nobody over there has enough public relations awareness to even put up your standard corporal response to this anniversary post.
That started over a year ago.
Clearly, the upper management is incompetent. Yeah. I mean, we know it's incompetent because of the Panzer Corps 2 release. But it's worse than you think when they can't even do Midwest nice. right? They can't even do Midwest nice in response to the anniversary post. Even Activision and Blizzard are capable of that, and they're at the bottom of the gaming company pile.
Yeah.
But they have PR departments. I don't think Slytherin does. I think maybe these guys are too busy. Maybe they're so understaffed that I don't believe that. They definitely respond to other posts. You have the people that are like designing it. They respond to that. You're telling me they can't even go, hey, thanks for the reminder of the anniversary. Thanks for your support. Thanks for buying the game more than once. Thanks for sharing the game.
Right.
You know how much money they could make if they just said for $5, we're gonna add a mod feature.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just a standard mod feature.
I'd pay $30
Just
for
for five.
that.
Even I bet they could probably do it for $30. Would they have to do some programming? Well, probably. Well, how the hell did they add all the other options to the game? You're gonna have to do some programming and icon imaging, and then one of the issues might be they don't want to be responsible for updates, right? So they would probably have to put a disclaimer like, if this breaks the game, it's not our fault. But I think people wouldn't care. We know the mods work. They could take the top 10 mods people like and make that a feature.
Well, I haven't been pissing and moaning about it, but I'll just go ahead and say it here. But they promised me and I'll forget his name right now. The guy that won the tournament that I set up. I'm forgetting his name. Why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, they promised us a character, a unit in Panzer Corps 2. Now, if they've honored that, I don't know about it. I don't know anything about it. But no, they. What was his name? Oh, that's gonna piss me off.
It's probably one of those things that gets lost on the shuffle. I mean, they had a lot of problems getting that launched right. Right? There's a bunch of people that couldn't even play it.
Well,
you know what tells you, just between the two of us, how much that game sucks? People have stopped playing it.
Yeah.
People stopped playing it. And think about this. I was watching Robbie went into Panzer Corps 2. He spit it out, right? He didn't really. It's been 8 months. He's done, right? He's gone through it a couple times. He's done. You can just see that the interest in the game is dying out. And they're going to be able to keep it coming back a little bit because they're going to keep releasing DLC. But I just don't think the interest is there. They got to get back to the 2D model. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if part of the reason Bricata left is because he didn't see a future. Does he want to be playing Panzer Corps 1 for the rest of his life on his channel? I don't think so. Panzer Corps 2 could have been refreshing and new and different. And I remember that discussion, like I think between him and Lieutenant Joker, and it was very clear that they hated the layout.
Yeah.
And if in a game like this, if the layout is wrong, it kills it. Like imagine a chessboard where all the squares were the same color. Yeah, you can play chess anyway.
The key to the game is to make it as immersive as possible. That makes it feel like you have a vested interest in playing it and retrying it and replaying it a different way. But when you're taken out of that immersion by the layout of the game itself, I thought it was clunky. And the graphics that they spend so much time on were lame.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they made enough money to be profitable, but the real pain won't hit them for probably a couple more years.
What do you mean by that?
Because I think that, well, if a game is good, it continues to produce revenue.
Mm.
And you get new people interested in the game, right? Panzer Corps 1 still has people buying the game this many years later. I'm sure the profit from it's minuscule, but Uh, but you know this game is good because new people keep coming back